together and they wired up the building and they took them down. It was going to be a hard thing to take them down anyway because we wanted to build some new structures. The buildings were getting old and it was time to bring them down. This way, we make some shekels by destroying the building. Old Silverman was a good friend of mine there, Larry. He got a twofer. He got a two-for one there, and he doubled the insurance magically.
That's
just
how
3
he's
months
referring to
before it
9/11.
happened. And then he got a two-for hit on it, so he made like 4 times his money. I should have been in on the deal. He asked me, but I said, oh, I don't know. Let me think about it. It took a little too long for me to think about it, and he pulled the plug. He pulled it, as they say, and so the buildings come down. But at least I got in on the market, and I was short American Airlines. I was short United Airlines. I was short Lloyd's of London Insurance Company because they took a big hit. Allianz Insurance Company, I was short them. So I made a few shekels. Well, let me ask you this. You know, there's a lot of speculation here. You know, I know that the Jews are thieves and liars of any moral society. Now, I want to thank you for coming on tonight and talking to me because I also know that there's no conscience among Jewry. And Rabbi Finkelstein, it doesn't matter what I say to you, it's going to bounce off you like water off a duck's back, right? Well, Jews always feel guilt. We've always felt the guilt. We have a conscience. The only conscience you have is when you can't steal all the money from anyone or any country. Well, you're hitting a little close to home, but you're correct. Now, on a lot of food labels, there's a U and a K. And this U and K on all food labels, for example, that are sold in supermarkets, etc., is this a Jewish tax that is paid to, like, rabbis like you all over the United States? Is that another con job at the expense of the Goyim?
Okay, and how long were you a Mason for?
9 years.
And how high up did you go?
Well, I went through the typical Blue Lodge degrees, went through York Rite all the way up to the Knights Templar Commandery, went through the Scottish Rite all the way up to 32nd degree, and at that time, then I was considered worthy to get into what is called esoteric Freemasonry, which most American Masons don't even know exists. And in that organization, I was admitted into the Rite of Memphis Mitzrayim, and I went up to 90th degree, which a lot of Masons, if they even hear that, they will, you know, their false teeth will fall on their heads. But there are actually at least 97 degrees in the higher level esoteric rite.
Right. Were you surprised when you found that there were more than 33 degrees?
No, not really. See, here's how this works. When I went through the Masonic rituals, I had the spirit guides in my ear whispering things, telling me to do things, telling me to answer certain things in certain ways. Because I did that, I was identified by the leadership of the Grand Lodge of the state of Wisconsin that I was someone a little bit extraordinary. And see, that's one of the ways in which I ultimately got contacted by the Illuminati, is because the spirit guides had given me certain key things to say, key things to do, even gestures to make, stuff like that, that would identify me as being someone who was worthy of more light. You see, that's what they promise in all the Masonic degrees. They say, you know, you get light, you get further light, you get more light. And of course, where does this light come from? Well, if you read the writings of the Masonic leaders, that comes from Lucifer.
And how many Masons know that?
Maybe 1 in 1,000, but most of them don't have a clue unless they bother to toddle upstairs and read the books that are in their own Masonic libraries, like I did.
How many Master Masons know that there are Satanists among them?
I'd say the same figure I quoted earlier, 1 in 1,000.
Right. Since Catholics are strictly forbidden to be Masons, why were you being asked to do two opposite things?
What people don't realize is that the Catholic Church helped start the Masons. And that, for example, the Scottish Rite, most of the degrees in the Scottish Rite were written by Jesuits. So even though there is this apparent antipathy between the Masons and the Catholics, to the point that up until John Paul II's reign, If you became a Mason, you were Roman Catholic, you were de facto excommunicated, just like that. But actually, it's all a sham, because most of the high level of people in the Vatican are all Freemasons, and many of the people that are Freemasons are Catholics.
I said to myself, wouldn't it be fantastic if I could own the Twin Towers? We got very, very lucky. The governor of New York, George Pataki, decided one day that maybe it would be good to privatize the ownership of the World Trade Center. So I got a call from the governor's office, and they said, would you ever consider owning the World Trade Center? It was very, very good for the family, very good for us, and we were very, very fortunate. On the morning of 9/11, I'm getting ready, getting dressed to go to the dermatologist. I have light-colored hair, light skin. The sun is a disaster for me. I can't take the sun. She said, okay, but you're going to the dermatologist, you're going this morning, and you're not going downtown. We got very, very lucky. And I had an obligation to collect the insurance proceeds from the policies. A new governor was just elected, Eliot Spitzer, an old friend who I knew well. And I said, Eliot, if you don't help me, I'll never collect from the insurance companies. And guess what? He listened, and he said, you know what? You're entitled. I'm going to get you the money. And in 6 months, he got me the $4.5 billion. We got very, very lucky.
Ariel and some of the boys in the Mossad, they got together and they wired up the building. They took them down. It was going to be a hard thing to take them down anyway, because we wanted to build some new structures. The buildings were getting old, and it was time to bring them down. This way, we make some shekels by destroying the building. Old Silverman, who's a good friend of mine there, Larry, he got a twofer. He got a two-for one there, and he doubled the insurance magically.
That's
just
how
3
he's
months
referring to
before it
9/11.
happened. And then he got a two-for hit on it, so he made like 4 times his money. I should have been in on the deal. He asked me, but I said, oh, I don't know. Let me think about it. It took a little too long for me to think about it, and he pulled the plug. He pulled it, as they say, and so the buildings come down. But at least I got in on the market, and I was short American Airlines. I was short United Airlines. I was short Lloyd's of London Insurance Company because they United Airlines. I was short Lloyd's of London Insurance Company because they took a big hit. Allianz Insurance Company, I was short them. So I made a few shekels.
Well, let me ask you this. You know, there's a lot of speculation here. You know, I know that the Jews are thieves and liars of any moral society. Now, I want to thank you for coming on tonight and talking to me, because I also know that there's no conscience among Jewry. And Rabbi Finkelstein, it doesn't matter what I say to you, it's going to bounce off you like water off a duck's back, right?
Well, Jews always feel guilt. We've always felt the guilt. We have a conscience.
The only conscience you have is when you can't steal all the money from anyone or any country.
Well, you're hitting a little close to home, but you're correct.
Now, on a lot of food labels, there's a U and a K. And this U and K